Magandang araw po sa ating mga tagapanood at tagapakinig at maswerte tayo ngayon dahil pinaunlakan tayo ng ating Congressman-elect Attorney Mauricio Dumogan nagbabalik sa Fridge TV at sa North Luzon Monitor. Welcome back, sir.
Maraming salamat at sa management itong television station. Salamat din to all of you, mga mahal na kababayan in the city of Baguio. Maraming salamat sa inyong tulong sa atin. Hindi tayo siguro lumabas kung hindi ang inyong tulong at basbas ng ating Panginoong Ama. So again, thank you very much to each and every one of you, especially to our volunteers, to our konting sponsors at lahat ng mga campaigners po natin na rain or shine talagang nagtrabaho ng gusto just to help us in the campaign that for sure contributed to the outcome of the election. At yun nga, nakalabas naman tayo dahil sa inyong tulong. Maraming salamat at sana sa tulong ng ating Panginoon ay magagawa natin ang mahusay na serbisyo for the city of Baguio and for you, our beloved people. Gaya ng sinabi ko sa ating Thanksgiving, tayo ay hindi po perfecto and I need everybody's help. Kung meron kayong nakikita na siguro magagawan natin ng solusyon, especially in terms of legislative action na baka nakakalimutan natin, please feel free to approach us, convey to us those concerns para nga magtulungan tayo at you will be assured na gawin natin ang ating makakaya to address those problems.
Alright, kung maaalala po natin, si Attorney Dumogan po ang ating huling guest na ni-live natin dito. But of course, we have saved the best for last, ika nga. Siya ang huling guest natin bago tayo pumunta sa ating mga polling centers para bumoto at nasabi nga natin doon ano ang gagawin kapag nanalo. Mukhang nagdilang anghel tayo dito sa ating Fridge TV at North Luzon Monitor. Ang dami po nating kailangan pag-usapan dahil ang daming concern sa ating kongreso ngayon. Ano po ba ang unang-una nating gagawin?
Well, of course, kung tingnan natin ang ating social contract, ako, we give importance and of course validity yung pinirmahan po natin na social contract with our people. So within the first 100 days, I committed to myself na sana ma-file po natin lahat yung nasa ating social contract as our priority bills sa Kongreso. To mention some of them, una, we have to rewrite the city charter.
Yes.
Very unfortunate that gaya ng nasabi natin, maraming salamat sa ginawa ni Apo Congressman Go in passing the revised city charter. Ngunit may seryosong infirmities na dapat i-correct natin. I had described some of them. So sa section 3 lang, the meets and bounds of the city of Baguio, na dito natin i-incorporate yung settlement ng ating boundary dispute with the municipality of Tuba, province of Benguet. Si matagal na boundary dispute ito, dapat matuldukan na, mabigyan ng solusyon. At yung solusyon dito i-release natin yung 48 hectares that somewhat included the municipal building of Tuba sa sakop ng City of Baguio. I-release natin yan sa kanila. Ngunit kunin natin sa Green Valley and Santo Tomas Apugan yung 48 hectares na yan para walang mabawasan sa 57.496 square kilometers land area ng City of Baguio. Yon yung talagang isang dapat ilagay natin sa ating revised city charter. And then ikalawa, talagang alisin natin yung section 23 sa paragraph 4 na nagsasabi na ang approved ordinances ng city i-forward natin sa provincial board pursuant to section 56 and 57 of the local government code. Alisin natin yan kasi City of Baguio is a highly urbanized chartered city. Independent po tayo sa province of Benguet. So, hindi po kailangan na ipo-forward natin yung approved ordinances ng city for approval pursuant to section 56 of the local government code by the Sangguniang Panglalawigan. Pangatlo diyan, na talagang matagal na problema ng City of Baguio, yung disposition of alienable and disposable public land na actually sa revised city charter section 50 ito talagang alisin natin yung TSA. Let us rewrite that provision. Palitan natin sa ginawa naming amendment na binito ni Apo President Noynoy Aquino para maalis ang townsite sales application as a mode of acquiring alienable and disposable public land in the City of Baguio and replace it into a miscellaneous direct award sa actual occupant and or qualified applicant na walang requirements of public bidding. Yon yung importante dyan kasi na-explain po natin kung tama ang records na binigay ng DENR sa atin, meron pa ring 1,080 hectares na alienable and disposable public lands na mostly covered by townsite sales application na ang tagal na applications mga ito ngunit wala pang award or title. Wala tayong problema sa 200 square meters or less kasi pinasapo namin during our time yung residential free patent so they can have it be patented under that law na walang babayaran. Ngunit yung more than 200 square meters, ito ang sinasabi natin na alisin natin yung TSA as a mode of titling them and replace it into miscellaneous direct award sa actual occupants, qualified applicants. Ito, importante ito because you can just imagine yung 1,080 hectares that's equivalent to 10,800,000 square meters na kahit na sabihin natin 300 pesos per square meter ang babayaran ng aplikante for the titling of this land ay talagang it will amount to billion pesos. At para hindi lugi ang city at barangay kasi magbabayad ngayon ang mga owners of this land ng kanilang real property taxes on the land. At present, yung binabayaran lang ng mga occupants of this land, yung real property taxes ng kanilang buildings and improvements, hindi sila nagbabayad ng real property taxes sa lupa kasi under the law, kung hindi pa awarded sa kanila ang lupa, they are not obligated to pay real property taxes. Malaking bagay ito. Let us not forget one of the biggest, if not the biggest, source of income ng barangay is from the real property taxes.
So kapag naayos natin ito, sir, babalik sa barangay ang income na nawala sa kanila.
Talagang mag-increase for sure yung income ng mga barangays.
At matagal na po nating nilalaban ito.
Yes, actually, yun nga, that's why priority bill na gawin natin ito.
Top 3 talaga.
Yes. And then, next yan, na dapat ilagay natin sa city charter. Ibalik natin yung provision ng city charter na nakalagay din sa ating amendments na ginawa namin, na binito ni Noynoy, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, na whatever amount na babayaran ng applicant sa more than 200 square meters land area na to be titled in their names will go 100% to the city government. Walang pupunta sa national government. Na unfortunately, sa revised city charter, naalis.
Bigla pong nawala ang provision
Biglang nawala.
na ito.
Importante itong provision. Kasi gaya ng sinabi ko, kahit na 300 pesos per square meter, ang babayaran ng isang aplikante sa kanilang ina-applyan na lupa. Imagine the 10,800,000 square meters times 300 yan. Billions yan. That might be sufficient to develop the public market.
Naku.
Na hindi mo kailangan na i-privatize yung public market.
Matatouch po natin itong public market dahil meron kayong social contract sa ating mga tao sa palengke.
Ayun nga, that's why importante ito. And then next, yung Janhi reservation. Actually, Article 12, Section 55. Talagang ito, kung hindi natin maalis ito as part of the city charter, dapat yung ilagay natin dyan, yung part of the 19 conditionalities embodied in Resolution 362, Series of 1995, yung ilagay natin dyan. Let me make it clear. I am doing this one not to favor the Sobrepenia group. We are doing it for the sake of the city of Baguio.
Marami po kasing nagsasabi na we are favoring the past administration nga ng DevCo, mga Sobrepenia. Pero in reality, ito pong pag-aayos natin ng Camp Janhi ay para sa ikapapanalo ng ating syudad.
Yes, and the 13 barangays which are within Janhi. It so happened that, of course, the Sobrepenia group is supporting us also on this 19 conditionalities.
Of course.
Iyon yung nagbibigay ng color na parang sinasabi na dinidipensaan natin yung kinakampihan natin yung DivCo. That's totally false.
Pero ano po ba ang importansya sa pagbalik natin dito sa 19 conditionalities na ito na tila hindi na pinapansin ng bagong administrasyon ngayon?
Well, importante ito. Let me relate the story. Alam ba ninyo na when the Janhi, a former US basis, one of the former US bases had been turned over to the city government and the national government decided to have it be developed. series of big demonstrations against the development of Janhi had been happening in the city of Baguio. I was the one who had been facing these demonstrators, and what somewhat pacified them was the crafting of the 19 conditionalities embodied under Resolution 362, which enumerated the terms and conditions for the development of Janhe. Because of these 19 conditionalities at least, na-pacify yung mga demonstrators, karamihan sa mga demonstrators. So the development went on. So importante ito. Now, ano ba ang provisions ng 19 conditionalities na talagang importante for the city of Baguio? Unahin natin. Condition number 1. Well, of course, kunin ng City of Baguio ang 25% of the lease rental or 30% of the net profit, whichever is higher from the 247 hectares na subject ng lease, a share of the city. And let me again tell the people of Baguio na 100 million po ang nakuha natin na lease rental ng Janhi na part of what we had used to pay for the 1 hectare area and the convention center. That's why the convention center is now absolutely owned by the city government because of, as I said, yung rental, part of the rental na nakolekta natin sa Camp Janhe. So that's one. And the city will continue to enjoy that right. Kasi sa akin ito, Resolution 362 is already implemented by BCDA. BCDA cannot say that wala yan, only a piece of paper. Hindi pwede yan. There is a clear meeting of the minds between the city and BCDA na considered as a contract. So, BCDA cannot just disregard it. Yon. Ikalawa, yung condition number 14. Condition number 14. To remove the 13 barangays from the coverage of the Camp Janhe reservation. Well, partly, BCDA started to implement this condition. Hindi lang natapos kasi sa mali sa technical description. But they had already agreed to comply with it. Sila pa ang nag-budget and it was then delayed. Saksigni who was hired to do the segregation at that time, kung hindi ako magkamali, with a budget of 2.8 million pesos.
At that
time. Unfortunately, hindi makapag-intindi ang tiga-hapi-halo, luwakan. Inuupos nila, akala nila, they are grabbing their lands, which is actually false. Yun yung nag-delay. Tagal namin inayos yan. Nung naayos na yan, at wala na. Na-revert back yung part of the 2.8 million na hindi nagamit. But the city, during our time with Apo Vergara, we got the late engineer Jose Fernandez na siyang gumawa sa segregation survey at pumirma po ang BCDE diyan. So, they have agreed already on this one. What remains is the conclusion of the implementation of the city segregation. And then next to that, very important for the city of Baguio, condition number 16. Anong nakalagay sa condition number 16? Na maliwanag na nakalagay diyan na after the expiration of the lease contract. And we are referring to the 247 hectares because this is the coverage of the lease contract between DIBCO and BCDA. The property shall be turned over to the city government without the city's obligation to pay the value of the same. Yung mga improvements, imagine those hotels and other log cabins that will be turned over to the city government. You can just mathematically compute ang income that the city can derive with that. That's why hopefully yung city officials at this time, natapos na yung eleksyon, will be in unison to assert the right of the city of Baguio regarding condition number 16.
Pagdating po sa condition number 16, maari po bang magsanib puwersa ang ating local government unit headed by of course, our mayor's office and the congressman's office para kumbaga ay katukin natin ng BCDA na i-implement ang 19 conditionalities?
Actually, that's what I am saying. Dapat kami, because I am still representing the city of Baguio starting June 30.
Of
course, must be in unison with other city officials down to the barangays. Dapat ganun. For all of us to be asserting yung karapatan ng city of Baguio under condition number 16. So, yon ang part ng revised city charter that we have to rewrite. Now,
itong city charter natin, Attorney Dumogan, gaano ka-importante ito sa ating relationship with our bliss?
Importante ito kasi unang-una, yun nga, yung settlement ng boundary dispute natin with Tuba, which is part of bliss. Yung Tuba, imagine, if you do not settle that dispute, then it is again a continuing subject of animosity and disagreement between Tuba, specifically with the city of Baguio, and the city of Baguio and the province of Benguet.
As a whole.
A whole. Hindi maganda yan. Dapat ayusin natin yan. That's why we were able to find a solution. Actually, again, not seeing good morning to myself. Ako ang humanap ng solution of how to address this one. Kasi, nung una, in fairness to the previous officials, they had been exerting their effort. Ngunit yung talagang nag-back down sa kanila, the use of the word exchange or swapping. Ayaw na ayaw ang tiga Tuba in the province of Benguet na gamitin yung word na exchange or swapping.
Medyo allergic sila dyan.
Hindi. Yung tansya nila, political suicide daw. Kung aaminin nila na Tuba or the province of Benguet is encroaching on a 48 hectares of land area of Baguio. Sabi ko sa kanila, gusto at hindi ninyo, yun yung totoo eh. Kayo ang nag-relocate, kayo ang nag-hire kay the late engineer Canuto Calatan, siya ang nagpalabas ng resulta ng kanyang relocation na nasa inyo yung kopya. Relocation na kayo nag-encroach kayo ng 48 hectares na land area ng Baguio. But in order to solve the problem, sabi ko, okay, we will not use the word exchange or swapping. Ano ang gawin natin? We will conduct relocation survey of the limits and bounds of Baguio. And in the act of relocating the land area of Baguio, alisin natin yung 48 hectares. Ibigay namin sa inyo yan. Ngunit kunin namin sa Duntugan and Santo Tomas, Apugan.
So
yun.
Nagustuhan nila
yan. That's why in fairness to the municipal officials of Tuba, they had been appearing in Congress when this amendment had been discussed in Congress during my time. Ngunit gaya ng sinabi ko, unfortunately, binito ni Noynoy yung amendments na ginawa namin.
So lahat po ito ay masasakop ng pag-revise natin ng city charter.
Yes.
Kailangan ba natin ng plebisito?
Hindi kailangan ng plebisito. I disagree with the contention or view of others na kailangan yung plebisito. Of course, mandatory ang consultation.
Yes.
That's why what I will do is come out with the draft of the rewritten city charter.
Paano ho ba natin tatawagin ito? Amendment, revision,
Actually,
rewriting?
amendment of the revised city charter.
Amendment of the revised
City
city charter.
charter.
So ito po ang politically correct. Walang
Yeah.
magagalit dito.
Walang magagalit
So,
dyan.
ang unang gagawin ay babalik tayo sa konsultasyon.
I-send ko sa kanila ang
Opo.
ano.
Yung
and then,
proposal,
yung draft.
yung draft.
Hopefully, kung the city council will approve it, nothing wrong of conducting a citywide consultation.
So, mauuna muna sa pagbalik sa ating konseho, ay city council, kumbaga. Papakita natin ang
Yes,
ating revise.
of course.
So dito ang unang hakbang para
Yeah.
maayos ito.
Yes.
Matanong ko nga, sir, dahil natapos na ang eleksyon, nanalo na kayo, nag-congratulate na lahat ng kaibigan at kaaway. So tapos na ang eleksyon, kayo na ang uupo, inaantay na lang natin ang June 30. Meron na po ba tayong transition team na mag-aakay sa team ninyo papasok sa congressional seat natin?
Well, sabi ni Congressman Go, when I meet him during na mag-meet kami, I hope that will be somewhat the kahit na they will not accompany us, but I will like to listen also to
Of
him.
course.
Ano ang kanyang sinimulan at mga priorities na ginawa that I can continue in Congress. Kasi sa atin, it's not because he was the one who started it na hindi ko itutuloy. Kung ito beneficial to the city of Baguio, bakit? Hindi ko itutuloy yan. Itutuloy ko yan. Ngunit kung hindi, sorry. Kagaya ng revised city charter, no way that's why it's a priority bill natin yung we have to submit an amendment of the revised city charter.
Alright, that's number 1 on our agenda.
Yes.
Nagpahiwatig na ba ang team ni incumbent Congressman Mark Go to schedule the talks and the meeting with your team?
Sinabi na niya sa akin na mag-usap kami.
So we are open to talking with
Yes,
our
ako,
incumbent.
that's always part of my attitude.
And of course, if he wants to emphasize or highlight ang mga gusto niyang ituloy at imungkahi para sa inyong team, open din tayo para dito.
Yes, kasi when he won as congressman, I had
Nag-transition team din tayo.
I was not the congressman at the time, ngunit I had the chance to convey to him yung gaya ito, yung amendment of the city charter.
Kumbaga naibagahagi niyo ang kailangan.
Yes. Unfortunately, iba ang lumabas.
Baka hindi masyadong napakinggan. Pero ngayon, kailangan makinig talaga.
Yeah, that's already water under the bridge. Let's learn lesson from it, but let us not blame anybody.
Of course.
Pas na yan. So let us to look today and tomorrow. So yun yung ko.
Sa election po ngayon, anong natutunan nyo? Dahil kayo po ang pinaka-senior sa mga nanalo. At kayo po naman ang tinitignan talaga sa ating syudad na nag-umpisa ng maraming bagay. Pero dito sa eleksyon ito, meron po ba kayong natutunang bago?
Of course, alam mo, maniwala at hindi kayo. I think I have the difficulty of meeting even the skeletal budget for my headquarters. And what I learned.
Totoo po ba yan?
Yeah. Yes, totoo yan. But what I learned is what you have done, performance, is still the best politics. Meron pa rin yung tao that can remember what you have done. I think that was my only asset na
pinakamalakas na asset, kumbaga.
Yun yung that's why marami ang paninira, ngunit
Nasaktan po ba kayo sa paninira nung nakaraang eleksyon? Dahil madami-dami ang paninirang nangyari.
Of course, tao lang tayo, but fortunately, it did not result from my side to utter bad words to any of them.
Nagpaumanhin na po ba o nagsorry na po ba yung mga
Walang nagsorry.
Walang nagsorry.
Walang nagsorry.
Pero,
Ako, sabi ko lang, patawarin na lang natin sila.
ay, talagang mahirap naman talagang mag-sorry. Pero sa mga panahong ganito, baka kinakailangan.
Well, sa kanila yan. Sa akin, tapos na yan.
Mhm.
So, if they do not say sorry to me, well, it's on their part. Ako, I forgive them.
You have
Of course.
forgiven, of course.
Yes, of course, I will remember what they have done.
Of course.
That's another thing.
Forgiving but remembering what they have done.
Yes.
Ngayon po, punta tayo dun sa isang issue na baka sakaling makatulong ang Congressman's Office kung sakali. Ito nga pong debate natin tungkol sa palengke. Ano sa tingin niyo po ba ang maaaring maitulong ng Congressman's Office dito?
Well, of course, unang-una, hindi ako sold sa privatization.
Mhm.
Sold tayo sa development, but it must be pro-people, pro-Bagyo, hindi lang pro-developer. Na yung karapatan ng tiga-Bagyo, especially those na thousands who are relying from their income as leases in the public market,
Alright.
must likewise be a part and parcel of the development. And then, of course, yung rights of the city of Baguio. So, yung nakikita ko na siguro magawa natin na makakatulong dito, tingnan ko ang possible source of funding that I can access for the city of Baguio that can be utilized for the development of the market.
Okay.
So, parang if there is a way that yung number one priority natin for the development of the market is the city will do the development.
Aha.
Yun yung first priority. Second priority, kung kukuha tayo ng mga partners to develop the public market, it should be, as I said, pro-people, pro-Bagyo, not only pro-developer. That's why I keep on seeing, meron tayong ordinance series of 1995, diyan tayo magsimula.
Mhm.
We can improve that one. Anong nakalagay dyan? Kahit na meron kang partners to develop the public market, yung first and second floor will continue to be owned absolutely by the city government.
Mhm.
Walang paki ang developer. At dito natin ma-accommodate ang mga legitimate market stall leases, and of course, it guarantees also the rights of the city of Baguio. In this way, talagang it's pro-people.
Yes.
Yan yung ano.
Ang ordinansang po ito ay kinraft natin with the multi-sectoral group, tama?
Yes, actually, gaya ng in-explain ko nung una,
Mhm.
there were series of consultations from section to section in the public market.
At dumaan siya sa mahabang proseso.
Yes, dumaan. Unang-una, it was the Baguio market vendors who came out with resolution number 1 for the development of the market. Inaprubahan ko as mayor. Ikalawang resolution ng market vendors to conduct a soil test. Inaprubahan po natin. Si Apo Boni Dilapin ang nag-conduct ng soil test. Pangatlo, nagsubmitar sila ng conceptual market development. Yun yung ano. And then, after the series of consultation, the City Council passed Ordinance Series of 1995. Oh, yun naman yung nangyari diyan eh. That's why yung umaatake sa akin, kung tingnan nila, pati yung kanilang auntie, uncle, at papa, sila ang nagpasa ng ganong ordinance sa City Council eh.
Mhm.
Mm.
Meron po tayong tanong na gusto nating i-accommodate dito. Si
Okay.
Attorney Martin po tinatanong, are you going to champion the segregation or the merging of the barangays?
One of the things that we have to do.
Ano po ang una natin gagawin dito? Dahil napakatagal na po itong minimithin nga natin na merging.
Actually, we have been doing that during my time.
Mhm.
Hoping that we can start it with an ordinance of the city. Unfortunately, minsan barangays na ayaw mag-cooperate, sorry to say, personal, parochial interest.
Mhm.
Ang ano nila, kung ma-merge daw sila sa mas maraming population, baka wala silang tsansa sa barangay election. Parang ganun eh.
So nagkakaroon na ng
Yes.
ng interest.
We have already a mapping of the proposed merged barangay.
Mhm.
I think the 128 barangays, actually 129,
Yes.
will become only, I think, 43 or 45.
Kapag ginawa natin
Yes,
ito.
yung merging.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this will be for the best.
Yes, for the best. Like Irisan. Irisan is compared to to a third-class municipality.
Yes.
Oh,
Sa laki at
fourth-class
sa dami.
municipality. Yun naman yung status ng Irisan eh. That's why that can solve a lot of things in the city of Baguio. Yung problema natin sa street sweepers, problema natin sa barangay tanods, and then yung proposal natin na mag-monthly na lang yung barangay officials. Parang more or less, they will be on a full-time basis na magtrabaho. Ngunit yung sweldo nila ay itataas natin yung kanilang sweldo. Siguro, under this situation also, they can possibly qualify to become members of the GSIS.
If the merging will push
Yes,
through. Ano
that
po
we
ba
had started
first
to
step
do.
dito? Consultation or babalik sa city council?
Of course, there were series of consultations that had been done before, and there was already somewhat a mapping in partnership with the city assessor's office for the proposed merging. That's why we have to again revisit this result ng ating consultation.
Ang daming bakbakan sa consultation na haharapin ninyo.
Ito naman, kung talagang we will consider it objectively, I'm sure na papasa ito. Now, yung problema natin dito,
Go ahead, sir.
sa provision ng local government code, ito nga yung problema eh. Kasi may criteria of the elements or qualification of a barangay is.
Yes.
Karamihan sa barangays in the city of Baguio cannot meet that
Criteria.
Itong problema, walang nakalagay na solusyon sa sitwasyon na yung barangay cannot meet the criteria. Ano bang mangyari? Yun yung kulang yung local government code na, ito, yung isang iniisip ko na amendment. Kung mahirapan tayo sa consultation, i-amend natin yung local government code na automatically ma-abolish and must be merged with the nearest barangay if it cannot meet the criteria.
So that will be one of the solutions.
One of the solutions to force the Kasi it's not only in the city of Baguio, but I discovered this one when we were having a proposal of making the barangay officials to qualify as members of the GSIS.
Yes, during that time.
During that time, I was part of the technical working group of Congress, and unfortunately, Yun nga sinasabi ko, halos 20% lang ang mga barangays that can qualify.
Mhm.
So sabi ng Department of Budget and Management and the Department of Finance, the government cannot afford to subsidize yung kailangan ng mga barangays that do not even qualify to exist as a barangay under the criteria of the local government code.
So yun ang kailangan sana nating
Oo.
gawin.
Mm.
Meron ako itatanong, sir, dahil kayo din ang nag-umpisa na itong organisasyong ito sa ating local government unit, ang POSD. Ano po ba ang aim ng POSD nung inumpisahan nyo ito noon?
Simple lang po kasi meron tayong Public Order and Safety Division
Mhm.
sa city government.
Yes.
Ngunit 5 lang yung staff, yung POSD. So in short, yung POSD is an old part of the somewhat part of this part of the division of the city government
Yes.
under the mayor's office. Ngunit yung ginawa ko lang yan, dinagdagan ko ng mga personnel. Yung 5
Opo.
na staff na yan. Yun lang. But yung POSD is an old existing division. Ulitin ko. Of the city government attached with the mayor's office. Dinagdagan ko lang yan kasi what do you expect of 5 personnel to implement yung functions ng POSD? Ano ba ang functions ng POSD? To help maintain peace and order sa public market in
Mhm.
katulong ng police din. Of course, may short sila ng power na ngunit malaking bagay na maitutulong nila kagaya ng implementation of local ordinances, yung cleanliness
Mhm.
sa illegal vending. Kung minsan may police na ayaw nilang i-implement yung
So ito,
local
dito
ordinance.
papasok dapat ang POSD.
Yes. Yun naman yung ginagawa natin dyan Oo. That's why
So ito
malaking
po ay
bagay.
malaking tulong ito sa LGU kung tutuusin.
Yes, malaking tulong. And then, problema natin yung traffic. So we assign some of them sa traffic
Mhm.
na even up to this time.
Yes,
Oh,
lumaki na
tingnan
po
mo.
ng lumaki ang
POSD ang ako ang nag-transfer sa kanila yung sa traffic division of the city government.
Mhm.
I started that.
In terms of ethics and kung paano ang pakikitungo nila sa taong bayan, nailagay ba ito sa kanilang parang code of ethics or
Yes.
IRR?
During my time, every Friday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I meet the entire POSD personnel.
Mhm.
Yun yung pinag-uusapan namin.
Personally.
Kung may complaint against a POSD, I will call the complainant.
Mhm.
Private kami. Confront yung POSD na involved. Kung kasalanan yung POSD, give him the disciplinary action.
So ganun po ang nangyayari
Yes,
noon.
during our time. Kasi hindi mo maalis. Meron at meron yung talagang
Totoo po, dahil sila
yes.
nga po ang katulong ng ating mga kapulisan
Yeah.
at meron silang mga taong syempre natatanggal sa ating mga kalsada, nasisita sa traffic na
Yes.
nagkakaroon ng sama ng loob.
Yes. Actually yan. May Muslim sa Mabini na yung ginagawa pala. Surya is not because Muslim.
Mhm.
It so happen na Muslim nga yung involved.
Totoo po.
May pwesto sa loob.
Nung panahon kasing yun, ito ang issue.
Yeah. May pwesto sa loob. Yung pala, meron siyang kasamang Muslim na binibigay yung kanyang paninda sa kanila na naggabiben sa kalsada.
Opo.
So, hinuli ng POSD. Nilabanan nila yung POSD to the extent that
Nag-away.
nag-away sila at
Nagkapisikalan.
may physical injuries.
Mhm.
So, inayos natin yan. Umalis yung mga yan Sabi ko, wag naman ganun. Kayo, mga brothers and sisters na Muslim, you are our co-equals. Ngunit kung hindi kayo sumunod sa ordinansa, sorry.
Ngayon po ay medyo maraming complaints sa ating POSD na hindi naman talaga maiiwasan. As the sitting mayor who created this office sa ating LGU, ano po ba ang pwede niyong mai-advise sa ating POSD personnel ngayon?
Well, ako palagi kong sinasabi sa ating POSD, sundin natin yung rules ng pag-implement ng ating ordinances and directives ng city government. Talagang may iwasan natin, ma-minimize natin ang talagang problema kung ganun yung gawin natin. May vendors din, may tao na ina-abuse nila yung POSD. Ngunit may POSD din na kung minsan sumusobra din yung ginagawa nila. Yun naman yun. Both ways. That's why as I said, importante yung talagang every week na may meeting sa kanila at kung ano ang grievances na dumating sa mayor's office against the POSD must be taken up with them, and lahat nandyan when we will take it up so that listen also to the other POSD. Yung meron akong tinanggal din na POSD. Of course, lumabag sa talagang reglamento.
So, kailangan po decisive at pantay talaga ang desisyon.
Exactly. Of course, I defended the POSD kung talagang tama yung ginawa ng POSD. Nag-abuse ng vendors. It's my obligation to defend the POSD. Yun naman
Naitanong lang natin ito kay Attorney Dumogan dahil sa panahon nga niya nag-umpisa ito at dahil sa mga natatanggap nating complaints or comments sa POSD ay binabuti na po nating itanong. Kaya hindi po nakikialam ang ating congressman-elect sa ating city affairs but ini-explica lang or binabalikan lang ang nangyari dati.
Tama naman yan. Well, again, I hope na mas magaling yung POSD natin ngayon sa POSD natin noon.
Of course.
Kung tingnan mo, ang hirap nung sinimulan natin yan kasi unang-una, sa public market, problema natin yung illegal vendor sa hilltop in all the roads sa public market. POSD naman ang ginawa kong talagang number one na katulong that fix yung illegal vendors sa lugar mga yan. And then, of course, sa Magsaysay Avenue, sa Lacandula, sa Mabini, ang dami kaya ang naayos natin na POSD ang ginamit natin. Wala namang ganong complaint against the POSD. Kasi I meet also the leaders of itong mga association ng vendors. We meet them.
So talaga pong dialogue.
Dialogue. Hindi mo pwedeng biglahin yan na but doing it repeatedly with them, talagang it will work.
It will work eventually. Meron pong comment si Attorney Martin, full support po kami sa merging of barangays for an effective public service delivery. Mukhang advocate din si Attorney John Paul Martin ng COMELEC sa ating merging.
I am sure. Ako, without doubt, na talagang common sense will tell us na they cannot meet the criteria under the local government code. So, dapat mag-merge sila.
Totoo po.
Yun yung
Baka naman po ngayon ay matuloy na at
sana.
Sa tagal po nating pinopropose ito.
Yes. At tama yung sabi ni Attorney Martin. Talagang it will improve the management, administration, and governance of the barangays.
Opo.
Kung this will happen.
aasahan po natin ang ating unang hakbang para sa merging ng ating barangays. Pero babalikan ko po kayo sa isa sa inyong legislative agenda nung kampanya. Itatanong ko po ngayon, kakayanin pa ba nating mag-file ng anti-political dynasty bill dahil kasama po ito sa ating mga naipangako, kumbaga.
We will file. I'm sure we will meet a lot of opposition.
Of course.
Sigurado ko yan. Kasi we have been doing that in the past. Ngunit hindi maka-forward kasi nga dynasties yung kinakaharap mo eh.
Hindi ho ba kayo natatakot na baka ma-overpower kayo ng mga kasamahan natin sa Kongreso?
Pasensya. Importante, may file natin yan. We will see.
So kasama po ito ba sa inyong mga gagawin within the 100-day period?
Yes. Kasama yan.
Kasama po talaga ito. Aasahan po ito.
Yeah. Kasama
dahil
yan.
Alam po natin kung paano nyo nilabanan ang pagkakaroon ng isang dinastiya dito sa ating syudad.
Well, kasama yan.
Sir, ano po ba ang magiging advantage ng pagkakaroon ng isang anti-political dynasty bill kung sakaling makalusot?
Well, maliwanag. The purpose is why this anti-dynasty has been part of the Philippine Constitution is, of course, it implements Section 26, Article 2, the Constitution, which will guarantee equal opportunities to public service among its own people. The young people and other qualified and competent candidates na kahit na hindi mayaman, can be given the equal opportunity to serve in an elected public service. Yon yung kasi kung talagang hindi natin mapahinto yung political dynasty, walang tsansa, ang walang pera. Yung mga young promising leaders na mahirapan.
Opo.
Hirapan.
Aabangan talaga ang pag-file ni Attorney Dumogan ang ating congressman-elect ng anti-political dynasty bill. Naku, maraming aabang dito. Nabanggit niyo po ang kabataan. Kakamustahin ko po kung kamusta ang bagong Team Timpuyog dahil hindi po pinalad lahat ng kasama sa partido natin, sa organisasyon natin. Kamusta po ang mga tumakbong kasabay ninyo?
Well, I'm happy to hear from them that hindi sila na-discourage. They want to continue doing what they can so that hopefully sana they will have the chance also to serve as elected officials in our city of Baguio. And I said this repeatedly. I am impressed with this new members of our team. Saka baguhan sila, ngunit yung kanilang talino at programs na gusto nilang gawin kung sakaling mabigyan sila ng pagkakataon to serve in an elected office, magaganda.
Totoo po yan. Meron tayong dalawang medyo bata-batang inaabangan. Sana na pumasok mula sa inyong Timpuyog team, itong si Kurt Santiago at si Ryan Javier na first-timer talaga, bagitong-bagito, bagong pangalan na sumubok at public service.
Yun nga, they are really good materials, and I am happy to note that they have been coming to me even after election.
Hindi naman po masyadong sumama ang loob.
Hindi naman. Sabi nila, we learned a lesson and we want to continue our advocacy.
Yan po ang maganda. At kasama pa rin naman sila sa Timpuyog team.
Yes. Kasama pa rin sila.
Isa sa pinakamaingay din at malakas na advocate tungkol sa ating batas trapiko, si Ted Tan. Kamusta naman po si Sir Ted?
Okay naman. Had been coming also to the office na hindi sila mag-give up.
I'm sure talagang tutulong itong si Engineer Ted Tan para ma-solve pa rin ang ating traffic problem sa Baguio.
It's not a joke.
Mhm.
He is one of the few traffic engineers entire the Philippines.
Mhm.
And nasubukan natin siya. Kahit na walang sweldo, he had been a consultant, and a lot of his contribution to improve the traffic system of the city of Baguio had been implemented even up to this time.
Mhm.
Dapat, ayun nga, sabi ko, sana mabigyan siya ng pagkakataon to be a public servant of the city of Baguio as member of the city council. Masisigurado natin na marami siyang may contribute sa especially traffic problem which is becoming a serious problem of the city.
Ay opo, umaaray na po ang ating mga kababayan
Yeah.
sa Baguio sa traffic.
Yes.
Dahil traffic has never been as worse as it is now dahil nga po sa probably sa dami ng tao at sa dami din ng sasakyan natin.
Correct. That's
At
why
kinakamusta natin si Engineer Ted Tan. Kamusta po kayo, sir? As we also acknowledge and greet, of course, itong mga kasama natin sa Timpuyog Baguio, si Kurt Santiago, of course, Councilor Vladimir Cayabas, congratulations.
yeah.
Binabati rin po natin si Attorney Benny Bumogaw. Kamusta, sir? At si Murphy Maspil, kasama po si Mr. Esteban Somni. Ito po ang bumuo ng bagong Timpuyog Baguio.
Yes, correct.
I'm sure you are very proud of your team dahil ito nga po ang tinatawag nilang bagong muka ng Timpuyog.
I am really proud of kahit na hindi kami kompleto, I am proud of these people.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I repeat, mabigyan sila ng pagkakataon to serve our city of Baguio. I have the confidence that they will be a very good servant our city of Baguio.
Yes. Aasahan po natin yan na maririnig pa rin natin ang mga boses ng
Yes.
inyong mga kasamahan. Sir, babalikan ko po ang isang gusto nyong gawin sa inyong legislative agenda dahil alam nga po natin, batas naman talaga ang tututukan natin sa Kongreso. Itong pag-amenda natin ng Oil Deregulation Law. Paano po ba at gaano ka-importante ito para sa ating mga taong
Importante
bayan?
ito. Kasi gaya ng ihemplo natin, pang lumalabas, tingnan mo yung diferensya ng presyo ng oil dito sa Baguio at saka sa
Ang
Saitan.
mahal-mahal.
Ang laki kaya, halos 10 pesos or even a little bit more.
Ang ginagawa
So,
po ng ibang kasamahan natin, lalo na po yung may mga public utility vehicles, bumibili na sa baba at inaakyat dito.
natural.
Mhm.
Kasi ganun nga yung diferensya. At yung nadiscovery ko dyan, dahil oil is not part of the coverage of the price control law.
So
So
hindi
ito yung
sakop.
importanteng amendment na gawin natin. It must be placed under the price control law. In the meantime na hindi pa nagawa yan, I hope we can contact a partner that can supply us with the fuel na kailangan natin at ibenta natin a difference of 5 pesos sa present price ng oil in the city of Baguio.
A partner to supply the city of Baguio in the meantime.
Yes.
So isa ring solusyon yan.
Yeah. Actually, it can be immediate because this can start even before na maipila yung bill.
So ito nga pong bill na ito, baka sakali naman na bumaba ang presyo ng gasolina dito sa atin dahil talaga po namang napakataas.
Yes.
Sir, maraming nagtatanong tungkol sa magiging cooperation or synergy natin sa ating local government unit or LGU dito sa Baguio. Kamusta po ang magiging relationship ng Congressman's office at ang Mayor's office natin?
Well, of course, I'm looking forward of all of us, me specifically in the city mayor, and then the members of the city council led by the vice mayor to be working together.
Mhm.
I somewhat meet with Apo Mayor Benjamin Magalong. Dapat naman magtulungan tayo sa our agreement. At I even said sa mga issues that possibly we have different proposal
Yes, magkaiba
na
ng
magkaiba.
perspektiba.
By all means, priority na ayusin natin yung ating disagreement with the hope that we can come with a unanimous action on the subject matter. Kung hindi tayo makapag-agree dyan, it should not be a obstacle that will distract our teamwork and cooperation with other programs of the city na ikakabuti ng ating lungsod.
So
That
talaga
should
pong
be ganun.
nag-uusap-usap na para sa
Well,
syudad.
dapat naman ganun eh. Gaya ng ginawa namin kay Apo Bernie during that time in 1992. We belong to different political parties. But I said, sabi ko, which Manong Bernie readily agreed, dapat magtulungan tayo. Which
Of
happened. And that was how the Timpuyog Tibagyo had been born.
At of course, legendary nga ang Dumogan-Vergara tandem. Nabanggit natin ang dating Timpuyong. Nagkausap na ba kayo ng inyong inaanak na si Gladys pagkatapos ng eleksyon?
Oh, nag-congratulate naman sa akin.
At
Nag-congratulate sa akin. Sabi ko, well, part of what I said,
yes.
ako, believe it or not, I have high respect to Manong Bernie and Manang Glo. Let us not allow politics to destroy that family relationship between my family and the Vergara family. See that. So, salamat.
So, na-congratulate na po si Madam Gladys, who also is, of course, the standing chair of the Baguio Tourism Council. At turismo ang kanyang tututukan. Aasahan po natin ang patuloy na serbisyo ni Madam Gladys, of course.
Well, including Manong Bernie.
Yes.
I texted, actually, Manong Bernie texted me. At of course, I answered him. And yun din yung part of what I told Manong Bernie. That's why I even said, during my oath-taking, you will be my special guest, you and Manang Glo.
Naku, aasahan ng lahat ang pagpunta ni Bernie Vergara sa oath-taking ni Attorney Dumogan. Magkikita ulit ang dalawang talaga namang matalik na magkaibigan.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's why unfortunate na nangyari yan. Anyway, that's already been passed.
Yes, ang eleksyon ay tapos na.
Yes.
At of course, kinakausap natin lahat ng mga nanalo, lahat ng mga makakatrabaho natin, at of course, ang ating mga kasamahan na hindi pinalad. Dahil masakit nga po ang hagupit ng pagkatalo.
Si Manong Bernie even said na, ni Apo Diyos tinang iturong. Sabi niya. So, at least.
Ngayon, sir, natutuwa kami na kayo ay pinalad na makapasok ulit sa ating congressional seat.
Thank you.
And gamitin natin ang panahon na ito. Nakausapin niyo ulit ang ating mga kababayan dito sa Baguio. Ngayon po na congressman-elect na po kayo and you are going on to your 28th year ba in public service? Tama ba?
No, I will be starting my 32 years.
32nd, my gosh. Starting his 32nd year in public service. Talk to our viewers and the people of Baguio and tell them what they can expect from you as a congressman-elect.
Well, as I said in my Thanksgiving, ako, hindi naman tayo perfecto. I need everybody's help. And you are welcome to bring to me kung meron tayong nakakalimutan na dapat gawin natin. And as you have seen that we have been serving you You can talk with me any place, anywhere that you can see me. Walang prohibition dyan. Parang you can bring immediately whatever concerns na akala ninyo na meron tayong magagawa to address them. So, open yung ating opisina. That's your office. You are always welcome to approach us in the office or any place that you can see us where you can bring your concerns that kung sakaling meron tayong magagawa sa sinasabi ng ating constituents, it's our obligation to address it.
Nagpapasalamat tayo ngayong araw dahil bumalik ang ating pinakamamahal at paboritong Attorney Mauricio Dumogan dito sa Fridge TV para naman ngayon, hindi na mangampanya pero magpasalamat at ilahad ang kanyang gagawin sa kanyang unang 100 days in the Congressman's office come June 30. Ngayon po ay maraming naipangako at marami tayong aasahan na gagawin ng ating abutihing congressman dahil sa panahong ito, kinakailangan po natin ang maraming bagay sa ating syudad.
Correct.
Ang ating mga kinakailangan ay iba na po kesa dun sa dati and we need immediate action to issues that continue to hound our city. At kinakailangan po din natin ng synergy nga sa ating congressman's office at sa ating local government unit,
That's correct.
particularly our mayor's office. And we have here Congressman-elect Dumogan offering his hand in goodwill to all the candidates who won and his, of course, reconciliatory hand to all those who did not make it. Kung baga nga po, it's an open door para kay Attorney Dumogan. Kagaya ng dati, totoo po yung kanyang sinasabi. You can talk to him anywhere at any time. Literal pong bukas ang pintuan ng kanyang opisina. Maraming salamat, sir, sa pagbalik niyo sa Fridge TV. At aasahan po natin na magkakaroon tayo ng updates sa ating congressman's office, maybe quarterly or every 6 months para lang po we keep abreast of what's happening in our congressman's office.
You can expect it.
Maraming salamat
I'm
po.
always available. You call me and then, of course, that's why papasalamat tayo sa PIGS
Yes.
television station.
Okay
And
po.
kayo po na personnel.
Naku, kayo din po, sir.
Maraming salamat.
Okay po. Malen Katahan po para sa The Breaking Point.
Thank you, Malin, and
Opo.
the management of PIGS television station. Maraming salamat.
Salamat,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Salamat po.
Thank you.